suspected, the district still at any time can ask that people, can require people to be tested if there has been any exposure. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, the next item is a motion to approve the addendum to the February 26, 2018 staffing agreement between the Pennridge School District and the Bucks County IU to be extended until June 30th, 2019, allowing the Bucks County Intermediate Unit to provide Pennridge School District an interim principal at the rate of $687.50 a day.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walters. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Ms. Kildare. Questions or comments from board members? Ms. McHale, could you explain a little bit about how that per diem rate works? Because it sounds really high on an motion.
The per diem rate does include a charge for Mission 1, who this runs through. Going through the intermediate unit to obtain the services of interim administration allows us to receive the Bucks County Intermediate Unit discount that they receive from the Mission 1, who is the staffing agency that provides us with administrators. And since I have the mic, I will thank Dr. Demi Foote, who has stepped in on several occasions to help us out when we've had a principal that has been out of the building for a little bit of time. And Dr. Foote just finished her assignment at South Middle School this past Friday. So I'd like to thank her again for stepping in and serving as interim principal.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, the next item is a motion to approve tenure recommendations for the following employees: Carly Baker, Kevin Fair, Susan Hanson, Victoria Kennedy, Megan McCauley, Heather Miners, Danielle Mylans, Melissa O'Brien, Ashley Randazzo, Jessica Saylor, Stephanie Soletto, and Jessica Silva.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Yarnell. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, the next motion is to approve an updated Director of Operations job description.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mrs. Dolan. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, the next item is a motion to approve Amy Light as interim finance director at a prorated salary of $104,984, effective September 21st, 2018.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Yarnell. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
And our last item is a motion to approve certification stipends for Operations and Transportation Department employees for the 2017-2018 school year.
Motion by Mrs. Walters. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Rice. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, and then our next Personnel Committee meeting is for Monday, November 5th.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters. Next up is the Policy Committee. Ms. Kildare?
Our last meeting was on September 4th, and there was a lot of motion to approve the following policies. Number 105, curriculum development. Number 138, limited English proficiency program. And number 239, foreign exchange students.
Okay, do we have a motion? You making a motion?
Yeah, motion
Okay.
to approve the following policies.
Okay. Motion moved by Ms. Kildare. Do we have a second? Seconded by Mr. Rice. Questions or comments from board members? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
Here's a motion, we have a motion to approve first reading of the following policies. There's a lot of them. Number 311, reduction of staff. Number 918, Title I, parent and family engagement. Number 210.1, possession and administration of asthma inhalers, epinephrine, auto injectors. Number 810, transportation. Number 810.1, school bus drivers, school commercial motor vehicle drivers. Number 818, contract services personnel. Number 006, local board procedures. Number 108, adoption of textbooks. Number 246, school wellness. Number 704, maintenance. And number 806, child abuse. Please have that motion to approve the first reading.
Thank you. Moved by Ms. Kildare. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Thompson. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 9-0.
And the next policy committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 8th.
Thank you. And the next committee report is for the Upper Bucks County Technical School. Dr. Yarnow?
Thank you. The UBCTS met on September 20th, and there were a number of items that I will report out tonight. First of all, there was a discussion about new programs, and in fact, we did approve the possibility of including an HVAC program and a bioscience program at the vocational school. The Policy and Program Committee also discussed the guidance plan similar to what you mentioned in terms of the IU. The UBCTS is also planning a guidance plan. We did have a student of the month, as we typically do. It was a young man who is from Faith Christian Academy, Joshua Langenberg. He's in the mechatronics program, and he's also a lead ambassador for our Skills USA program. The director reported that he has Pepsi machines on site. Now, the Pepsi machines don't have Pepsi in them. They have water and other fruit juices and things that are a bit perhaps healthier than the Pepsi itself. Those operate to add monies that can be used by the students at the vocational school. They're in the cafeteria, and others besides students, of course, can use the machines and have, as I understand so far. We have 11 new animals that will be the show animals that will go to the farm show in January on site. If you like small animals, pigs and goats and the like, that's the place to visit. There was an enrollment report. This year we have currently 721 students at the vocational school, and of those, let me make sure I get the right number, 307 are Pennridge students, and that constitutes 42.8% of the total population there. Quakertown has a slightly larger number of 314 students, and Palisades 98 students. Last fall at this time there were 730 students, so it's a slight drop, very slight. 826 is the full capacity. Obviously, we'd love to have more students. The trick, of course, is to get them there and get them into all the programs that are available to them. What usually happens, and has happened again this year, is that the animal sciences program, all those pigs and goats and so like, attract students, and we have a waiting list of 21 students in that particular case. And so that imbalance is something that's obviously difficult to plan for or to correct, other than trying to interest students in other programs that we offer. In terms of other things, we did, as I say, approve the comprehensive guidance plan that has been put together. We approved trips for our student ambassador training and for our Skills USA Professional Development Conference. So that happens in November, mid-November, and it happens to be at Camelback Lodge at the Poconos. There also is the School Nutritional Association of Pennsylvania is having a dinner at the VOTEC. I want to thank Mrs. Giantara. I'm sure she was instrumental in this, and it sounds like quite an interesting event that's occurring on December 4th, so we approved that. Supposedly they have roughly 70 participants who come for that sort of event. And beyond that, both the Rise on the Ridge bakery schedule was released, as was the Rock Ridge restaurant schedule. For the most part, these are Thursdays and Fridays, but they aren't every Thursday and Friday, so you really ought to check with the list or call ahead before you decide to go. Food's great, but we wouldn't want you to be disappointed by going there and not having the particular facility that you're interested in open. So that is the plan for the VOTEC, I think, this time, and of course there will be another meeting in October, the third Thursday of October. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yarnell. And we have, I think there's still several programs that we have openings in that they're still hoping to fill those seats, right? So,
Yes, there certainly are openings in a number of programs.
so if there's students that are still looking to go into the tech school, that would be something to look into because there's still several options.
So what was the bioscience program? Do you know what that was? I'm just curious. Maybe I should know, but I don't.
No, you absolutely, I would say, should not know, right? And I think most of us were partially informed as of the Thursday night. Obviously, it's meant to be something more expansive than currently exists in the landscape horticultural area. And it would include things like biotech and various parts of different, probably aimed at a type of student who's very interested in science and some of the aspects of science that relate to agriculture and horticulture and so forth. So it's something that there is a state SIP, so-called, which means a code that specifically lays out that program. That means that you can offer it as part of your vocational program, but it has a lot of flexibility to be built into it. So it will, I believe, be something that over the next year, the folks, the administrators at the vocational school will be discussing at length and bringing back to the board as to what their actual vision is should we decide to open this program next year or thereafter. And I'm sorry, I don't know whether that tells you enough, but it's a start, right? And I'll try to keep you informed.
Thank you. Okay, the next committee report is technology. Mr. Kraus?
Thank you. The Technology Committee did meet on September 10th, and just a couple of highlights from that meeting, if you will. Mrs. Miller presented an overview of the summer activities. They were extensive. I was unable to make the meeting, but I do know the activities that took place over the summer. And I'd like to take the opportunity to publicly thank her and her team for having all the technology available at the start of the school year. It all seems to be working. I haven't gotten any emails from parents saying things aren't working, so it's all good. And I really appreciate the hard work they put in over the summer to make that all happen. Second was a Canvas update that was provided by Mrs. Gurish. And that's the highlights of the meeting. Next Technology Committee meeting will be on October 8th in the District Administration Office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. And the next committee report is Act 48. Mrs. Walters?
Thank you. The committee has not met at this time. We are meeting again November 8th.
Thank you. The next committee report is the Pennridge Area Coordinating Committee. Ms. Thompson and Ms. Gildary?
They didn't meet over the summer. We actually have a meeting this week, Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. And next up is the Pennridge Community Educational Foundation. Mrs. Cullen?
Thank you. They met early in September. They meet every first Saturday of the month at Penn Community Bank. I did not attend that meeting, but Dr. Bolton and I had a meeting with the director, and we went over just what the PCF is and some goals for the year. And I did want to share some of that information. The Pennridge Community Education Foundation does provide a lot to the school district over the years, and Dr. Scheid already stole Mrs. Bolak's not here anymore, but I was going to reference Mrs. Bolak, who's she's won several grants just in the time that I've been on the board, and it's been very helpful to teachers. They also award a scholarship to a senior every year from the high school, and of course the way that they are able to do that is through their fundraising. So they have a few events each year. They have a perk night, which is coming up on October 1st. If you're interested in that, the perk will give a certain percentage of money to the foundation, and they'll use that for those grants and scholarships that they provide. And then in April, they have their lovely evening, which is held at the Sellersville Theater, which is a really lovely evening. And they also, if you saw the SAT boot camp flyers, if you have high school students, that was something that was organized by the PCEF. It's to benefit them, but it also benefits our students by helping them prepare for the SAT. They are looking for some members. They need a couple of parent representatives and student representatives. And the commitment for that is that you would have to come to the monthly meeting, and the student representatives would be expected to help with like the fundraising, publicizing that and helping out with the fundraising events. The deadline for the grants for our teachers, that's in late September. And Dr. Scheid, you take those applications, correct?
Yes, I do, and the deadline is this Friday.
Okay.
And we've received at this point 10 applications.
Okay, thank you. All right, and that was really all that I had as far as what the PCEF does. I wanted to invite everybody to look at their website. You can find a link to their website on the Pennridge School District website. It's on the right-hand side, and it's a little link, and if you click on that, you can see what they, look at their website, see what they do. They also have a Facebook page, but mostly I would encourage you to be supportive of the PCEF because it really does benefit our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cullen. Old business. Anyone have anything? No? Okay, announcements. An executive session was held on August 23rd, 2018 for the purpose of an update of negotiations and proceeding tonight's meeting at 5:30 to discuss personnel and legal matters. That executive session will follow tonight's meeting as well. We didn't quite get through all of the agenda items for this evening, so we will be going back into an executive session afterwards. The next regular school board meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. That will still be in here, and it will be at 7 p.m. We're back to public comment. Do we have questions or comments from guests? Mrs. Furlong?
Sue Furlong, West Rock Hill Township. I represent a tax group for the most part. I'm not debating whether or not it's good for a child, but tonight was the very first time that I recall anything being said about developing a pre-K program in this district. If I missed it, please tell me what meeting that was at.
I'm going to jump in here just so you don't go any further because it's not our program. It's actually the IU's program, and they're using our facilities. And you were here when we had discussion about the cost of the meal plan and the fact that we are providing the meals, but they are paying us for the meals. You remember that discussion? That was for these
I
two
do remember
classrooms.
that. Are they, Who is paying the teachers?
They are with the grant money that they receive from the state.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments?
I'm on? Yes. Jennifer Iannetta, in Hilltown Township. And I was just hoping to get some clarity around the graduation survey. Particularly, can there be any clarity around the contents of the video that will be shared with the students? And for the students, with the population of students being shown that video and surveyed, is that high school students only? And thirdly, for the parents that will be surveyed, what is that population? Is that the high school parents? Thank you.
Ms. Ina, thank you for the
Yeah.
questions and asking for the clarification. The video that is being prepared is to try to provide information around the questions that we would expect students would have, since we obviously can't have a conversation with every student in high school, to try to anticipate those questions they might have and answer those as best we can from that standpoint. It's another reason why we're not closing the survey on one day, because there could be students who then reach out and ask questions of teachers, and teachers will be instructed then to get them to the administration, and then we'll get back to the kids with the answers from that standpoint. We are going to survey and provide that video for all students at the high school level, so 9th through 12th grade.
Okay.
The afternoon of the 3rd, then, so students will be addressed on the 3rd. On the afternoon of the 3rd, all parents in the district will receive the link to the survey. The survey is through SurveyMonkey, which allows us to control that only one per IP address, so that we're not going to be Chicago and have people voting 600 times in the election. And so from that standpoint, all the parents will receive that at that point. On the afternoon of the 3rd, it will also close on the 12th. It will include a link to that same video, because the audience and the questions will be very similar from that standpoint.
Okay, great. So thank you for the clarity on how students will also be able to channel their questions after viewing the video. One last question, maybe two parts to clarify. So will the survey go to high school students only, or all students in the district? And then secondly, I heard you mention for the parent survey, it will go to all parents in the district. And what will the channel for parents be to answer their questions?
The student survey is 9 through 12, all high school students through their English class on that day.
Thank you.
Yep. And then for parents, it will be all parents within the district that will receive that.
Okay.
And then within the email to the parents, there will be an opportunity for an email question and answer if they have that. Because as well, they have the week and a half until that survey goes inactive.
Okay, thank you very much for the clarity and the comprehensive approach.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Questions or comments from the press? Okay. Then I'll make a motion to adjourn. Seconded by Mr. Frost. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're adjourned.